Hello, my name is Cash Me Out P. Johnson, and through this public announcement, I'm here to offer you the opportunity to allow me to help you help yourself. Are you a rapper, singer, producer with great talent, and you're trying to push your career to the next level? But your CEO or your manager wants to be all in your video, all in your songs, forcing you to use SoundClick beats, or other internet sensations that are promoting recycled beats that are used by thousands of other rappers throughout the country. Well, me, Cash Me Out P. Johnson, is here to help you solve your problems. Here at BJ Shaw Studio, we pride ourselves on a state-of-the-art sound with industry-ready recording and industry mixdowns on site. We also offer exclusive beats specially made by in-house producers, and to make it even better, CD duplications at a very competitive price that beats down our competition. Need pictures for that bio or press kit? Visit BJ Shaw for the photography. Need artwork for that album cover and company logo? Visit the graphics department. Need a video? Visit BJ Shaw, because that's our specialty. I am Cash Me Out P. Johnson, and this is BJ Shaw Studio.
Hey, what's going on? You're watching Encore Forum, and tonight I would like to welcome on the panel Mr. Gotti. What's up, Mr. Gotti?
How you doing, Marlo? Thanks for having me on the show again.
Well, thank you for coming back. And we have Mr. SP. What's going on?
Marlo? I'm doing fine.
I'm doing well as well. Thank you for coming. And Jay Rich in the house. What's up, Mr. Rich?
I'm pretty good.
Richie Rich. Tonight we're going to discuss something that's extremely important, very serious, that's going on in our community, and that is the murder rates here in Milwaukee for 2012. We're only in the month of May, but we have multiple murders that has gone on since 2012. So SP, what do you think?
Well, my whole take on it is, it's us as a community that's need to take hold of this. I know we say police and all the authority figures, but we really need to take care of ourselves first. Because everything, all the problems start at home. You know, whatever the situations may be. I understand there's, you know, unemployment and all that. That has no bearings on the violence that we bring amongst ourselves. Because the only thing we're doing is we bring more pressure on our own communities. And the outside communities, nothing. It's all on us.
That's true.
So we need to look at the man in the mirror.
Okay. And oftentimes we do hear that it starts at home first. But what about the parents that's saying, I've done all that I can do to raise my children, and at the end of the day, this is what they decided to do. So is it the parents' fault or responsibility that what's going on in our communities today? What do you guys think?
I say do more, honestly. If you say you've done enough, I say do more, because everything that you instill in your child, it goes with them. Regardless, they make slip up here and there. Everything that you instill with them, and you build as their foundation, they may teeter at the top, but it always comes back down to the bottom what you put underneath them. So I say do more. Do more, okay. Well,
Ron, what do you think?
I think that it all starts at home.
Okay.
I mean, if you encourage your kids to do good things, that's what they'll do. If you don't, if you're telling your kids something and you study telling them something and they start to not believe it because they might go out and do something, being at school, being out in the streets, and you might threaten your child but don't actually go through with what you're talking about, the child stop believing in what you're talking about. So I believe that you have to whoop your child if they're being bad. You have to punish your children if they're doing things that you don't want them to do. And if you don't start while they're young, by the time they become teenagers, they don't have respect for you either. So they just go out into the streets and be raised out there.
Okay, but what about the families that's saying, well, I've done all that I can do and I've done beyond more? I mean, you're looking at parents that have their kids have gone and shoot up the place, and they're like, well, we didn't have any signs at all that our kid will do X, Y, and Z. What do you really tell that mom or tell that dad, that they really have not raised their children properly?
No, stop being a friend.
Okay, so you think it's because of the relationship that is with the parent and the child is the reason why the child, well, what if you're 25 years old and you're out there and you're pulling a trigger?
It's a learned behavior.
Yeah.
It's much more of a learned behavior. If you're sitting there making excuses for your child when they're young, teenagers, early adulthood, you're pretty much going to make an excuse for them when they're all the way an adult and doing some X, Y, and Z. And then really there's no excuse.
Okay, but at the end of the day, once you become an adult these decisions that you're making is on you as an adult.
Correct.
I mean, I feel like if you're an adult and you're out here pulling the trigger and you're out here killing somebody or attempting to kill somebody or making plans to kill somebody, then that has no bearing on your parents.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I do believe that it's the way that you were raised from the beginning. If your parents raise you and they let you know that if you do this right here, these are the consequences. You have to follow through on the consequences. It's pretty much too late to try to explain this to your kids when they sit in front of a judge and a jury. You know, it's over at the time. So when the kids are young, my suggestion is, you know, give them something to do. Don't just let your kids just run wild. You don't know the friends they hanging out with. You don't really care about the friends that they hanging out with because you're probably too busy in the club trying to take care of your own business instead of worrying about what comes first, and that's your kids.
Okay.
So when they do mess up, you know what I'm saying, it does fall back on you also.
Okay. Well, now that we've discussed and broken down how to prevent it when they're younger, who has the power to change once they're an adult and it's full-fledged out there? Who has the power to change what's needed immediately so that we can stop these murder rates here in Milwaukee?
Jay Rich?
I would say the neighbors. I mean, I would say the community, the door-to-door. Obviously, police involvement isn't always the relationships we have with police isn't always on the up and up, and we don't really
Trust them.
trust them. Yeah, thank you. Trust them. So I think we have to police ourselves. In that sense, a lot of things that start a lot of things that happen at night start in the morning. The argument that leads to the killing at night, it started that morning or the day before. It's conflict resolution. Talking them instead of fighting instead of shooting in some cases. I think that we have to police ourselves and handle conflicts in a different manner.
Okay. Well, speaking of the police, do you think it is the police responsibility to help bring down the murder rates?
Protect and serve, that's what they're supposed to do.
That is their job. You know, I remember when the chief of police that's now the chief of police, like 4 years ago when he first got here, he was saying like how great this man was, how he went to other cities and changed the murder rates, and how it was going to be like Milwaukee, the murder rate was going to drop. It did for a couple of years, but now we 3 times the amount of murders that we had 10 years ago. So apparently he's not doing his job. I mean, whatever he's doing is not working. The community is getting worse and worse, and the killings are getting done by kids that are younger than they were 10 years ago. So now you have a bunch of 17 to 18-year-olds killing each other out here, and then their friends get mad because they're dead, and they go and they start to shoot at the people that they think has something to do with it, and vice versa. So you have one murder turn into probably 6 or 7 of them.
Wow. SB, is there anything you would like to add before we move on to the next topic or question, rather?
Actually, I can agree with what Ron Gotti is saying. He pretty much, summed it up on that end. But from my perspective, it's pretty much, it's all in our hands. Police, they only can do so much. Police, they can't count on that like that. Mm-hmm. Because the way they handle it, they actually beget violence. They actually add violence to the violence. Because they'll come, yeah, their job is to come and see what's going on, but when they get there, their whole mindset is somewhere else. You understand what I'm saying?
I get it.
And you might have a rookie or two that may get scared, slip up.
Make the situation worse.
Right, take a bad situation and make it worse. So that's not all, they're not always the answer. Mm-hmm. Once again, us as a people is the answer to our own situations.
Okay, and I do agree that we are the answer to our own situations, especially within our communities. But we also say that it's a part of the community to help with policing the crime. And my thought then is, well, are you putting yourself in harm's way if you're trying to stop a situation or prevent a situation from coming up? Or even if you know a little bit of information about the situation, as a community, do we feel safe enough to go forward and help stop this? What are your thoughts?
I would say, I believe in the do not snitch policy. But the do not snitch policy, I look at more towards, if dude across the street selling drugs and he's not touching nobody or harming nobody in the neighborhood, don't snitch on him. Let him do his thing, let him make his money. But if you got 17, 16-year-old kids out here carrying guns and you know their parents, or you know somehow that you can get in touch with somebody that know them and do love them, then I suggest you go to their mama like, do you know that your son carrying guns around? and he hanging with the wrong neighborhood guys, you know, it starts with the community. If the community starts to police themselves, we won't have as many murders that we have right now.
Okay. And Jay Rich, what do you say?
Well, I gotta disagree with you in that sense, because the guy, the conversation that we had prior to shooting, we were talking about when there's a drought, meaning a drug game, and people get thirsty, you go rob the guy that has the money. That means the person that, if he's making money on my block, if a guy's making money on my block doing what he's doing, and I'm not supposed to say anything about him making money, which I really don't care to do myself. However, once you bring that violence to my block because someone else is thirsty or they're hungry for what he has, you bring that violence to my block.
Yeah,
I have a problem with that.
I understand that 100%, but I'm saying to the effect of when the drugs hit our community, it seems like when there's a bunch of drugs in the community, there's hardly any violence. Everybody's making money, everybody's happy. When the drugs disappear, and the people that don't have the money, like you say, they go start to rob drug dealers, that's one thing, but there's something that's been going on forever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I do agree.
Yeah.
This has been something that's been going on forever. And unfortunately, a couple of minutes and talking about this, we're going to run out of time, which we really have ran out of time on this topic, and it's just getting heated. But in essence, to me, who's to blame? The person who's holding a gun. Because at the end of the day, that is the person with the power to decide if I'm going to pull this trigger or if I'm not going to pull this trigger. Regardless of your upbringing, at the end of the day, the decision is yours. This is Encore Forum. Stay tuned.